Education 1030 students. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but I'm making this Thursday, March 16th. So I wanted to go ahead and go over what you'll be working on next week. So as always, the content will open Friday, March 17th for next week, and will close on Thursday of next week on the 23rd of March. So this week you will actually be working in 2 chapters. So we're going to be working in chapter 7 and chapter 8. So chapter 7 is going to be all about studying less, understanding more, remembering more, and then chapter 8 is really going to be about how do you take tests successfully. So I wanted to go ahead and dive a little bit in chapter 7 first, and then we'll move on to chapter 8. So that means that not only will you be responsible for chapter 7 material and quiz, but you also will have chapter 8 assignment and quiz. So this is the only week that you will have 2 chapters to work inside of. So it's important for you to stay on top and make sure that you get them done and you don't wait till last minute, because it is a lot to have to get done in a week's time. So the first thing you're going to really be looking at is how do we study, understand, and remember. Okay, so when we're able to do this, it really provides memory that promotes deeper learning. So that means that you have to make connections to what you're learning and have a deeper understanding. That way you can move it over into your long-term memory bank and you can pull it over later. When you're making small changes, like the strategies suggested and tips in the chapter, it really helps you to make your studying time more efficient. It improves your memory, and these study skills are really going to promote that deeper learning, which is what we want to happen. So what you're going to be doing is you have some learning resources here for you. Of course, you always have a PowerPoint that I give you. The PowerPoint goes along with chapters, so make sure that you look at the chapter 7 PowerPoint. There's also a reading organizer. So this is an outline that kind of puts the most important information and supporting details out there. So make sure that you complete this. Now last week you had to complete and turn in not only the reading organizer, but you also had to complete the formal outline. So the reading organizer is really going to allow you to use this as a study resource for the quiz, but also exam 2. So what you're going to be looking at first is you have 3 videos here. These videos are pretty short, but they're very important because it goes along with our content that's going to help you get a little bit more in depth with the content. For instance, the first video is called How to Study Effectively for School or College. Now, studying in college is a little different than what you did in high school. In high school, you may have read, you showed up, maybe took a few notes, or just listened to your teacher. Maybe did your assignment and you were able to pass the class. That is not the case in college. College requires for you to put forth a little bit more effort. You have to really make connections to the content. So this video really is good in the aspect that it's going to help you be a more effective studier. The second video is talking about how can you concentrate and build more focus. And then the last one is really a memory trick to help you be able to remember so you can retain the information for a longer period of time. I'm not, for the sake of time, going to go into the PowerPoint and talk through the slides, but the slides have really good tips, as so does Chapter 7 textbook. Okay, so one thing I wanted to know is if you're in Chapter 7, which I do want you to read Chapter 7, it gives you on page 156, table 7.1, there is a questionnaire here that asks you questions of whether you choose to upgrade your learning. So it really allows you to reflect on what you're doing now and to see if you're willing to make any changes. It also really goes into talking about how your memory works and how things are put into long-term memory, and then talks a little bit about your short-term memory as well. And then it talks about how can you improve your memory, some tricks that you can do, some study strategies as well. So for your assignment in Chapter 7, you're going to be completing a discussion board. So you're not going to put anything into Dropbox. You're going to be doing a discussion board post. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch this video called a Study Less, Study Smart, a 6-minute summary. After you watch the video, you are going to answer these questions. Okay, so after you answer these 3 questions here, I want you to choose 2 students to respond to. Okay, so you're going to look at what their post is, and then what I want you to do is give them a recommendation to them about their study habits or distractions that they deal with. So this is going to allow you to add a little bit more to the discussion instead of I just agree with your post. So you will complete that for Chapter 7. You also have your Chapter 7 quiz. Now remember, as the quiz is open, so for this time, it opens tomorrow and it closes on the 23rd, next Thursday. You have multiple attempts, so that means you're allowed to take the quiz multiple times to get the best grade. So just take advantage of that. That completes Chapter 7. Remember, you have 2 chapters you're responsible for this week. So the next chapter I wanted to go into is Chapter 8. So Chapter 8 is really going to be talking about taking tests successfully. So Chapter 7 really covers studying and putting things in long-term memory bank and how do you study and gives you strategies. Well, Chapter 8 is really going to talk about how can you use some learning strategies to successfully take tests. You're also going to be looking at how do you manage test anxiety. So these are sorts of things that kind of are connected with Chapter 7. That's why these 2 things are going together. So just as we do every week, you have some learning resources available to you. So first you're going to read Chapter 8 and complete the reading organizer. That's going to be a great study tool for you for Chapter 8 quiz, but also our exam. So remember, each unit, you have 4 chapters. The last 2 chapters that we're working on this week really is going to complete our unit before our test. So just make sure that you're aware of this and that you are completing these reading organizers. I have also given you the Chapter 8 PowerPoint slides. The slides go along with the Chapter 8 in your textbook, so make sure that you look at those and you complete your reading organizer. I also have some other links here that help you. So I'm going to go ahead and open these so you can see them. The first resource for you is called a test anxiety quiz. Now, just keep in mind this is not graded. This is just allowing you to kind of quiz yourself to see how you take tests and how you handle anxiety, and do you have test anxiety? So this is just something that you will take and just give you an idea if you have it or not. The next one is going to be, if you do have test anxiety, how can you beat it? Okay, so if you answered the quiz questions here and you find that you do have, and you answered yes to most of those, you most likely have test anxiety. This is a video going to really tell you how can you beat test anxiety, strategies and tips to help you. And the next one is really going to help you earn an A or earn a really good grade on your test exams. So it gives you strategies of how you can earn better grades. So for Chapter 8 assignment, you're going to be doing a Dropbox assignment. Okay, so Chapter 7, which you will also be doing this week, is a discussion board, but you will also be responsible for a Chapter 8 assignment, which is going to be something you will submit to Dropbox. So Chapter 8 is really pretty simple. It's going to be responses to questions, and you're going to get the answers to the questions from your textbook. So you will need your textbook to complete the answers. So the first section in this assignment is really looking at your test-taking skills. So what you're going to do is you're going to answer these questions about taking tests. Okay, so remember, these relate to you, but you need to look in Chapter 8 textbook to answer these questions. The next section, or the 2 questions, is really talking about college success. So thinking back and reflecting on your current courses right now, and you are going to tell which courses you find most difficult, and if you're anxious about taking tests in class, maybe some positive messages you can use to help yourself stay more focused. So really the first section's where you're going to really use the textbook to help you answer those questions. Also, you will be completing your Chapter 8 quiz, which you will have multiple attempts to do. So just keep in mind that this week you are going to be responsible for Chapter 7 and Chapter 8. So you will have 2 quizzes as well as 2 assignments. So please make sure that you are getting started as soon as possible. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'm here to help you. I can meet with you in Teams, I can meet over the phone or in person. All right, guys, until next time, take care.